I'm just gonna record the meeting so that we can share the meeting recording with the community. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us at the November UFCA meeting. I'm Jen Tran, president of UFCA. It's nice to see everyone tonight. Wanted to kick it over and introduce the other officers of UFCA. Then we can go over the agenda for tonight's meeting. We are going to go a little bit out of order, but I can explain that when we get to that point. And yeah, meeting's really informal. If this is your first time joining, thanks for joining us. At any time, you can feel free to use the chat and put any questions or comments you may have in the chat, and one of us will definitely address it or ask the question at the end of each portion of the agenda. Also, there'll be time for community discussion at the end for any open discussion items or anything anyone has on their mind. So with that, I will turn it over to Amanda to introduce herself.
Hi, my name is Amanda Garland. I'm the secretary for United Francisville Civic Association. Are we doing anything else or just name quick one? Cool,
whatever you
that's
want.
all. I'm gonna be looking back and forth because I'm gonna be taking notes.
I can go real quick. Jen, my name's Chris. I'm the treasurer of the organization, live on 19th Street, and see a lot of familiar names on here, so good to see everybody.
How's it going? I'm Evan Harra. My first meeting is zoning chair, so looking forward to it.
Evan, do you want to say a little?
Yeah, I
bit
guess
about
a little
yourself?
about myself. I moved here about 8 years ago to attend Temple Law, from New York originally, but I don't see myself going back. Been on Uber for the past 4 years, and excited to continue living here probably for a while. And just happy to help where I can, and any questions about zoning. I think that the email that goes out has a link for zoning at UFCA, and feel free to reach out if you have any questions or concerns.
Thanks, Evan. And we're really excited that Evan stepped up to take over the role of the volunteer zoning chair. I just wanted to also mention we're still seeking interested residents for the role of vice president to kind of round out the officers here tonight. If you're interested in learning more about that open role, you can email info@unitedfrancisville.com. But real quick, I'll just pop up the meeting agenda for tonight. Can everyone see my screen here? Great. So tonight we have some announcements, talk a little bit about the Fall Francisville Neighborhood Cleanup Day. We heard from Evan, our new zoning chair. We have 3 awesome community spotlights tonight, including Muse Yoga and Fitness, Fairmount Bicycles, and the Glitter app. And then we'll have committee updates from marketing and events, outreach and inclusion, fundraising and sponsorship, community resources, and zoning. And as a reminder, these are all volunteer positions and volunteer committees. So if you're interested in learning more about them as we go through them, you can feel free to reach out to any of the committee chairs to learn a little bit more and attend one of the meetings. We're just, as I mentioned at the beginning of the meeting, we're going to go a little bit out of order tonight. Officer Jesse OShea from the 9th Police District is calling in tonight. He serves on the Community Resources Committee and typically comes to our meetings when he's able to, or when with his colleague, Officer Kiefer. And so I know Officer OShea had some updates to share with the community. And I know he has some other obligations, and we're really grateful that he could attend tonight. So if it's okay with everyone, I'll just have him kick off the meeting and kind of start with some safety and some safety updates. So with that, I'll turn it over to Officer OShea.
Thanks so much, Jen. Glad to be here, everyone. Very much look forward to an in-person meeting in the hopefully near future. I'm a little strapped today just because of it's all hands on deck. If many of you may have heard, we had a shooting in Love Park. So we have some street coverage issues that we're dealing with, but we are staffing the park. It's going to be staffed with police through the weekend at least until the investigation concludes. It's an open investigation, so I don't want to get too buried with details, but I'll give you a brief synopsis. It was not, we don't believe it to be 9th District residents. A security guard was involved. possibly may have been assaulted, and shooting took place. I won't go into any more detail. Like I said, it's an open investigation. It's not, we're not going to let it fester and become a thing, especially as the Christmas Village and the Dilworth Plaza, the ice skating rink, everything starts to set up. We have a permanent beat 2 officers out there as we speak, and that's going to be, I said, for the foreseeable near future. So it was an outlier event. It wasn't anything, it was not normal. I know that that park has, especially in the lockdowns, has gone back and forth with some trouble, and especially overnight. But we have kind of rested our hat on some recent successes there. Things are picking up in Center City. They are coming back, and the park was making some strides of improvement. Still is a hub for homeless and other people, and rightly so, and they're welcome to hang there, everybody. But long story short, there's going to be a heavy officer presence in there, so I feel like it's going to be safe going through the holidays. As far as your area, Francisville specifically, about 3 weeks ago, I'll give a brief synopsis of this. We had a really successful arrest up there involving the carjackings. It was a really started, really organized event by no less than 3 individuals who were carjacking people generally in and around Fairmount Avenue, even a little further west towards Fairmount from Francisville. Our undercover tactical guys did a bang-up job and cleared 4, no less than 4, of these separate incidents, and the DA charged these individuals with 4 carjackings. They caught them in the moment, and without any violence, and recovered a gun and everything. It was really a special job by our undercover tactical guys. They're really good at what they do, and I'll answer some questions, but I just want to explain most of our challenges are due to manpower. So if we have, we're just really short-staffed, more than ever. So if we have proper manpower, I really feel like we can combat and deter most of the crime and quality of life things that go on, not only in Francisville, but Fairmount, Spring Garden, Parkway, Rittenhouse Square, and Graduate Hospital, and 15th Street Corridor. So we're really short. We kind of have all hands on deck. We have some outside-the-box ideas that we're instituting, Captain Hooven and Inspector Evers, including some possible mobile mini stations for once year, perhaps. We've put some vehicles in place in strategic locations in the district that have really helped with just giving the officers a chance to come, eat their lunch, do their paperwork on the computer in those cars. They're just unmanned police cars. And the one at 15th and Chestnut specifically has made improvements. So it's not an end-all, it's not a cure-all, but it has made slight improvements, and we'll take any win we can get. So the main job was those carjackings in your district. I'll open it up to any questions. Sorry, I can't see anybody. If Jen wants to field the questions, or if you want to unmute yourself and ask a question, feel free to.
And I know it's not directly in our district, but it's very close to where I am at, since I'm not technically in your district either. But the 2 murders that were on Ridge Avenue, is there any more information on that?
There's been no arrests, but my understanding was, as of Monday, during the weekly call, that Homicide was narrowing it down, and they were going to probably have warrants by the end of the week. Yeah, that was not the 9th district, though, so I'm a little unfamiliar with the latest.
There was a Francisville resident, though. It was on my street.
Say again? Yeah.
It was a Francisville resident.
I
The
know,
victim.
very sad. I'm sorry.
Hi,
There's
my Olivia Farrow. I just wanted to ask, I know around Halloween, there was a lot of graffiti, especially on like people's gates, doors, and kind of on like Parish between 19th and like Beige Martin School. Was that, do you think, like an isolated event connected to Halloween mischief or?
Yeah.
Okay.
In that vicinity, yes, I think it was isolated to troublemakers during Halloween, the mischief night in Halloween. We had a fairly successful 2 days. It was a weekend, so of course we were understaffed, so we hired overtime officers for Saturday and Sunday. That being said, it's a big district, and graffiti's on the uptick. So it's something that was in the Wednesday meeting with Captain Hooven, is how we're going to combat it going forward. Generally, it's not a major issue in Fairmount, north of the Parkway as it is in Center City. So we used to have a task force for that. With the shortness, we don't right now. So anything the help we need from you all is, if you see something new, report it. Not just to 311, but to here at the 9th. You can send me an email, even if you don't want to go through 911. You can send. I'll give everybody my email address just so you have it for anything. Any questions I can't answer today, feel free to email me anytime. It's Jesse, JESSE .OShea, OSHEA @phila.gov. If it doesn't get reported, it doesn't get addressed. 311 can be helpful, but it's an imperfect system as well. So I do believe those Fairmount graffitis were isolated to the Halloween season.
Thank you.
And there was a question in the chat about the shooting at 15th and Parish.
Yeah, that was the homicide detectives were in here this week, interviewing and getting statements from all the officers in reference to that. 3 arrests have been made. We feel like we know exactly what went down and why it went down. I don't want to divulge too much information, as of course it's an open investigation, but it was not 9th District people. They were not Francisville residents. Everybody involved, including the innocent bystander who one of the victims was innocent bystander. He didn't know either party and was just helping the first victim. So we figured out the circumstances and arrests have been made. I'll follow up on that since I'm not hearing anything. Anybody that hears of or has a problem with an Airbnb that is a trouble Airbnb, that quality of life issues, loud music, anything that you would deem a problem, report that as well. Again, you can email me or make a 911 call.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Officer, my name is Miguel Ortiz. I live on the 700 block of North Uber Street. And I don't want to bring any specifics about this case, but I guess a couple months ago, we had an incident on the block, and it was an assault. Do you know if there were any arrests made in that case? Maybe you're not aware of it, but I was just curious because nothing was posted afterwards.
It was 700 North Uber was the address of the incident, 700 block?
Yes, 700 block, yes.
Not off the top of my head. Do you remember the month or day, perhaps?
Boy, it's hard. It was not too, I mean, it was maybe, I would say July, maybe.
Okay,
August,
all right. I was thinking I had a recollection. I'm going to look into that. Do you want to send me a private email and we can correspond that way?
Sure.
I can look into it and get the final update for you.
Yeah, I think it was just, I think it's it will be interesting to find out if the arrest was made, because I think there were a couple more incidents tied to it, according to the victim. I just don't want to disclose the specifics about it, but yeah, I will follow up on that.
Thanks. All right, I wrote it down. I put it in the computer, but I'm gonna have to cross-reference it with a few things.
Thank you.
Yep.
And I did put Officer O'Shea's contact information in the chat so everyone can access that. It has his office line as well as his email. And Officer O'Shea, I had one quick question for you as well. We did get a note from a resident in the community that's been having some issues with neighboring residents illegally parking on the sidewalk, kind of like up on the curb, so cars can still pass on the street. It's like a smaller side street within Francisville. He's asked multiple times for people to not do that, but it just keeps getting worse to the point where it's blocking his gate where he exits his house on the front steps. And I don't know if you had any suggestions for that. He said he typically calls, the police about it and has asked neighbors to move their cars, but it seems to not really be working.
Understood. What are the time frames, general? Because it
I'm
matters.
I'm guessing it's all the time. They sent some photos and it seems to be kind of daytime, nighttime, all around.
Okay, understood. We can enforce it. The police, a 911 call will get an officer there, depending on the officer's availability. It's a priority 5. We have 1 through 5 priority system. So if there's nothing going on, the officer will be there shortly and can enforce a ticket, even put a tow away zone check mark there for private tow to tow it. That is not ideal because generally we're busy. So you can still make the 911 call just because sometimes we do have the availability. You never know. Make the 911 call and call parking authority. I can get a good parking authority number for everyone in the moment that can help get enforcement out. And that number would be, Jen, you can put it in the chat, 215-683-9550. And what block is that specifically?
I don't recall off the top of my head.
Okay, I can if Jen, if you email me, I know, I think Uber Street and a couple of the small streets near 20th have this issue. We've dealt with it in the past. If you could get me some specific locations, I can send the email to the patrol officers, and they can at least have it in the back of their mind to keep it in their patrols as well, to go up there when they're just patrolling.
Thank you. All right. Does anybody else have any other questions for Officer O'Shea? And he's always very kindly always offered to the community. You can email him anytime, or you can email us at UFCA and we can pass along the message as well.
Look forward to it. Look forward to seeing everyone again soon.
Thanks so much for your time.
Thanks for having me. Thanks, Jen. Thanks all.
Yep. All right. I always hate to kick off with that because I feel like it's a little bit of a grim topic. Not our great typical updates we kick off our meeting with, but I'm always glad to have their presence at our meetings. And so with that, I'd like to just go down the agenda items and hand it over to Chris to talk a little bit more about the Fall Francisville Neighborhood Cleanup Day that's being planned.
Sure, thanks, Jen, appreciate it. Just wanted to update everyone. I think just going back to our last cleanup, I thought it was successful. A lot of people turned out, got to know some other neighbors and appreciated that. And thanks again to Bold Coffee for providing, free cups of coffee that morning for our participants. So we appreciate that. Always looking for feedback or thoughts on improvement and how we can make it better and more effective. So if anybody has any comments, feel free to always reach out to me. I'm happy to do that, and also happy to have anybody help kind of form a cleanup committee of sorts on a go-forward basis. So please reach out if any feedback or thoughts going forward. Appreciate that. That being said, we wanted to get one more before it got too cold out. organized. So we're going to do it on November 20th. So we have 10 days from now. Similar trash drop-off areas we'll have. So whether you want to do it as part of the community or you want to do it by yourself on your own block or with a group, whatever. But we're organizing supplies, and as always on a Saturday morning, I don't do it without coffee and water. So we'll have some of that as well to be provided. In terms of a location, we're still working that out. We have a few areas that we're thinking of, and also thinking about if there's any concentrated areas that we want to cover. So if anything comes to mind, guys, don't be shy, just reach out and we're happy to organize that. So lastly, I think we don't have the supplies. We use a community organization or community service called CLIP and their community partnership program. I didn't know about this before our last cleanup, but you can sign up for anyone can do it. Sign up to borrow supplies from the city. You just have to go pick them up and bring them back. So they have rakes, shovels, trash grabbers, bags, all free of charge. So you can borrow it, don't have to store it at your house, and then give it right back. So I'll drop that link in the chat just as a reference so that you all have it and can hopefully use it for your own block cleanup or yourselves going forward. So that's all I have for now, Jen. But if anybody has any comments now, happy to listen, or feel free to reach out to me.
I beat you, Chris. I put it in the chat.
Okay.
Thanks. And last time we had almost, I think, 30 volunteers or 40 volunteers come out to the one we had a few months ago, which was really awesome to see all the trash being picked up, and glad we can squeeze in one more before the cold weather. So to kind of wrap up our welcome for today, I just had one quick announcement I wanted to share with everyone in the community. It's super bittersweet for me to share that my husband, Eric Griffin on the call here, and I will be moving out of Francisville at the end of this year. We've lived in our house here for about 8 years, and I've been in and out of Francisville my whole adult life. So it's really bittersweet, and really bittersweet to leave such a great community organization like UFCA. But you know, definitely won't be going too far. We'll just be out in the suburbs here. And I've already offered to the officers to stick around and help with anything that's needed. I know Amanda's like nodding her head vigorously. So don't want to say too much more because I feel like I might cry a little bit, but just wanted to share. And I know the community group will be in really, really good hands. And again, I'll be here till the end of the year. But with that, you know, we, in addition to seeking the role of vice president that we've been recruiting for all year, when Darlene Cerullo left the community, we're also going to be needing community members to kind of, you know, step up. We'll be seeking the role of president as well. So both, you know, vice president and president roles within UFCA will be open. So I'm happy to chat with anyone one-on-one, or, you know, invite you to come to our next UFCA leadership meeting that we have to kind of talk about the roles. You know, they don't take up too much time, but it's such an important role, and, you know, definitely want to continue seeing UFCA really thrive and continue the momentum we've had in the community. So happy to answer any questions or, you know, talk offline as well. All right. Sorry to drop that bomb on everyone. I'm going to move into our awesome community spotlights. These will be very uplifting and fun. I'm very excited. I'm going to start with Muse Yoga and Fitness. They were the first folks we listed on our agenda. And it's Steph and Maggie of Muse Yoga and Fitness, a new boutique fitness studio opening in the Francisville neighborhood on Ridge Avenue. They're going to tell us a little bit about themselves, why they chose to open up the business, the yoga business in Francisville. And then they're going to give us a tour of their new studio, which is currently under construction. So with that, I'll turn it over to Maggie and Steph.
Thanks so much, Jen. Hi, everybody. I'm Maggie. I'm Steph. Hi, everyone. It's great to meet you. We're actually going to start with a little tour, and then we'll be happy to answer any questions. So we are at 1513 Ridge Ave. We actually live on this block. We've both been here for a few years. This is the front entrance on the street in Ridge. It's still a little bit of a construction zone, so bear with us. We have about a month left till we open. Right here will be an area that you can like drop off shoes, put stuff in lockers, and then right here is a reception desk. The desk has stuff on it, but we will have a mosaic that we're working on, the two of us, and we'll go behind the desk. You'll be greeted and check in here. There'll be more cubbies here to put additional clothing, bags, stuff like that. And then this is our main studio space. So again, a little bit of a construction zone.
We're definitely a work in progress.
Yes. This is where most of the yoga classes will happen. We have infrared heaters in this room, so we can have hot yoga and unheated, non-heated yoga classes. Big windows, we're really excited about. We also have a local muralist working on a mural here, so sneak peek. She's about, I don't know, a couple days in. She has many days to go. And we're gonna have mirrors on that wall.
All right. And then heading over into the hallway, we have 2 bathrooms, not exciting, but obviously very necessary. We're gonna have an amazing outdoor space, which we're really excited about. When it gets warmer, we plan on having bistro tables and chairs and lights and just a place for people to come before and after class, maybe have a juice, meet up with a friend, just kind of hang out. We also are really excited about our chandelier. Took us probably, 2 months to pick it, so we're excited that it's up.
And go downstairs with us. Sorry for any shakiness.
We're heading into the more fitness area on a lower level. So here we'll have all of the weights. We have space to rack kettlebells, dumbbells, any additional equipment. We also have a storage closet, which again doesn't sound exciting, but the more space the better for something like this. It also frees up the space in our fitness room down here, so we can capitalize on every inch for workouts. We plan on doing personal training here and also small group fitness, so up to 8 people for 2 types of fitness classes, strength and then more of a cardio-based circuit training. We are planning on adding TRX straps right here to make this somewhat of a fitness beam. We're gonna have some fun elements like a neon light over on this wall, and then we'll have mirrors all along this wall.
So as I said, we're opening in about a month. If you want to follow along, it's on Instagram, it's at Muse Yoga Fitness. We're starting to sell our founding memberships, which are discounted rates for unlimited yoga and fitness classes. Again, more information on our Instagram and on our website. Anything else?
We're also gonna have a new client special to try our studio out for 2 weeks for a deal as well. So we're just excited for people to come and check us out.
I think that's it, Jen. Unless there are any questions or anything from anyone.
Sorry if you mentioned this. When is your grand opening date? Do you have a date selected already?
Yes, so we're actually about to big reveal tomorrow, but you guys will get the sneak peek. Our first day of classes is going to be Saturday, December 11th. So exactly a month from tomorrow.
Awesome.
Any other questions?
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
What is your, where were you coming from studio wise? And yeah, looks like an awesome space. I'm just curious if you guys own the building or.
Yeah, that's a great question. So I actually used to teach, I have the yoga background and Steph has the fitness background. So we're kind of bringing our worlds together, which we're really excited about. We're really excited to get people who maybe just join Muse for the yoga or just for the fitness, kind of get them to try out the other one. But I used to teach right before the pandemic at Priya Hot Yoga down on Callow Hill, which didn't unfortunately survive the pandemic. And so that was kind of the impetus for Steph and I. We've both always wanted to have a studio of our own one day. But when Priya closed and I was kind of losing my yoga home, and that was also where we like to practice, we at first tried to take over that space, but that didn't work out with the landlord. But the ball was kind of already rolling. And then we were introduced to the developer who is our landlord of this building, which is right on our block where we live, and had a commercial space that had not been anything yet. So we actually have gone through the whole process of designing it and building it out, and got really lucky, honestly. Did that answer the question?
What's the significance of that name, Muse?
Can I take this one? So it comes from a couple different places, I would say, because Muse can mean so many things, but it started out because during the pandemic, you know, some people were making banana bread. Some people were picking up hobbies. Maggie decided to partake in mosaicing with her husband at our condo unit. So we love the idea of what a mosaic stands for and multiple parts coming together in an imperfect fashion and making a whole. So we were kind of looking at names that were affiliated with Mosaic, and Muse was one of them. We also love the idea of, you know, just musing. You can be your own muse as part of our tagline. So it also stands for something that, you know, another idea that we really love.
Multiple meanings.
I have a question for you. Hi, I'm a neighbor. My name is Megan. My question for you is, you know, as you're starting to kind of recruit these founding memberships and as you're preparing to open, will you have kind of a sample schedule or what you expect class schedules to look like? Because I'm very interested. I'm a working mom with 3 kids, and so I like inevitably always miss the class I want to go to. So I'm hoping that would maybe be available a little bit early also.
Yeah, great question. We do have our tentative schedule. We're in the process of hiring, actually making our offers this week. So as soon as the teachers accept, we can really finalize what our schedule is going to be when we first open. We're focusing on, you know, before work hour, before a typical 9 to 5 job and after a typical 9 to 5 job and weekends. So think like 6:30 and 7 a.m. There'll be a couple of noon classes, and then a couple of days we'll have 4:30 p.m., but then we'll have 5:30, 5:45, 6:30, those kind of times. We're starting with 30 classes total per week. So 12 fitness and 18 yoga. And we hope to grow that. You know, if the classes are full and people are coming, we'll add to that for sure. We just don't want to spread ourselves too thin, you know, on day one.
And we're certainly open to feedback too. So, you know, let us know if there's a time that you're looking to add. We're definitely looking to understand, especially with our community and hyper local, what our clients are looking for.
For sure. I hope to see you at the studio.
Yeah, me too.
Anyone else? You can also feel free to DM us on Instagram or email us or call us or anything, anytime if other questions come up.
Thanks so much. And I put your Instagram link in the chat so everyone can go and follow it. And then as you get closer to your December 11th grand opening date, just tag us or let us know so we can keep promoting that to our community. And if you offer any other specials besides founding membership, also let us know. We'd be happy to share that.
Awesome. Will do. Thank you so much. We
Thanks
really
for having
appreciate
us.
it.
Thank you and welcome to the neighborhood.
Thank you.
All right, awesome. And then following that, so we have a brand new, not even opened yet business in the community, but also wanted to spotlight Shelley Walker, who's the owner of Fairmount Bicycles, longtime business owner here in the Fairmount Francisville neighborhood, the awesome bike store down at 20th and Fairmount, and wanted to introduce Shelley and give her some time to share a little bit more about Fairmount Bicycles and all of the things offered at the shop, as well as her other businesses in the Philadelphia area.
Hello. Yes, so I am Shelley. I'm currently at Brewerytown Bicycles over at 28th and Girard. And yeah, opened up Fairmount in 2010. And we are technically in Francisville. I didn't quite realize that like at the time. But we're on Fairmount Avenue. We called it Fairmount Bicycles. You know, we love the neighborhood. And what do we do there? I mean, we fix bikes, we sell bikes, we rent bikes, and we do guided bike tours also. That's like we kind of have a different brand for that. It's called the Philly Bike Tour Company. And that's something where like we even do, you know, like you live in Francisville, so you're not like, oh, I want to go do touristy things, but we do some like specific tours that might be interesting to you, such as like a Fairmount Park historical kind of tour. We do a mural arts tour, and we just this year launched like the beer history and tasting tour, which I'm so excited about. So it's called like how Brewerytown got its name, and we really like don't go very far because we're, stopping and talking a lot. So we kind of go to Brewerytown, go to Callow Hill, and then we're like back to Francisville, Fairmount, and super fun. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess the other thing I would talk about that I'm excited about right now is we like last year, just kind of in the commotion of like what is happening in the world right now, we launched this community card, and we see a lot of people at both shops that like need their bikes fixed and don't have the money to pay for it. So they just ride bikes that are broken, and oftentimes we just end up like fixing it and not charging them. And so we're like, how can we do this in a sustainable way? And we kind of put a call out to be like, hey, like who in the neighborhood would be willing and able to like throw money into a fund that would help pay for, other people to get their bikes fixed. And it was just like this amazing, overwhelming response of people being like, oh yeah, I'd do that. And we have like a little sign up at our Brewerytown shop that just kind of like lays out what it looks like. And just from having the sign up, people will just kind of the way you like round up at Whole Foods or whatever, like people just do that. They're like, oh, this was $8, like just put the extra $2 in that fund. And it's so cool because, we're not like a nonprofit. We're just kind of figuring out how to kind of redistribute funds within our bike shop in this very small way, but it's so tangible. It's like, oh my gosh, like you just gave us $2. And that means that like we can do this thing for this person and we don't have to do it for free because like, the bike shop world is also not this world full of money, or at least not in the way that like we're doing it. Like we are commuter focused. Like we see mostly people that are riding to work, riding to the grocery store, some riding for fun, but we're not dealing too much with the like $5,000, $8,000 toys that are bicycles, which is also like a fun world to be in. It's just not the world we're in. So anyway, that's what I'm excited about. And we have a place like on the website where people can contribute if they want. We're trying to make it a little more, seamless, a little more like accessible for that to be like, hey, like this is a thing we're doing. Because I think we just, the same reason we were excited we didn't launch this, but we became a site for a Mama T fridge. So like a community fridge that's right outside the bike shop on Fairmount Ave. And the same kind of idea there, where like the neighborhood, like what makes the neighborhood so cool is that we have so many different kinds of people. And I just think we have the opportunity to be like, okay, like there are people with resources, there are people without resources. How can we like mesh this? So that's what I'm excited about.
Thanks so much, Shelley. It's actually funny. I was going to say, like, mention the Mama T community fridge because in UFCA, we were in conversation. My neighbor is the owner of Stone's Beverage, and we were like working out the details to get him a community fridge. And then all of a sudden you guys had one and we're like, well, now that's silly. They have one. They did it. They beat us to it.
Nice.
But I was like, that's awesome. I love that local businesses actually care like that. And we can definitely promote through UFCA for the community fund too. I feel like that would reach more people than just the website.
Yes, that would be amazing.
There's a few questions in the chat. How has the pandemic affected your business? Do you see more people riding bikes now?
Yeah, early pandemic was bananas. It was like everybody wanted a bike and the supply just dwindled like instantly. And not just, not just Philly, not just the States, like the entire world ran out of bicycles. So it's been a struggle to keep up and catch up. And I actually like our reps are telling us it's probably like 2025. So things are normal and normal, whatever that means. I mean, we can't like, if you're like, hey, I just found out that, you're a Marin dealer and Marin makes this really cool bike. Can I order one through you? And the answer right now is like, no, like I can't even, we stopped taking orders last year around this time because our normal way would be like, yeah, we'll just order, take a deposit. And as soon as it comes in, we'll, build it, we'll get the rest. Bikes that they told us would be here in the spring, like still haven't gotten here. So I don't feel comfortable being like, yes, we will be able to get that for you. Because we probably can't. So yeah, it's wild. There's this yeah, a big supply and demand issue. We also, like, pandemic wise, we tried to focus on the safety of the staff and the safety of the neighbors and our customers. So what that looked like was one person working at a time, which was hellish. Like, it's so busy. You just can't get anything done, which also meant you're not making money. So it was like a weird, a weird balance of being like, does it make sense to be open? But like, okay, I think it makes sense to be open. So we applied for the PPP loan, and that's how we were able to, like, with one person working in the shop at a time, that doesn't cover the like dozen people or so that generally work at the shop. So some people got paid to stay home. Some people got, like, we're doing computer stuff, and we made it work. I mean, I was grateful for the PPP loan. And I don't know, I'm sure, like, I don't know if everyone's familiar with that, but it was basically, it's government money that you can use for payroll, like specifically to pay people to, do whatever, to work or to not work. So we were able to apply for that the second round too. And that's really genuinely like what kept us afloat. Cause like we had money coming in the door, like the demand was there. I feel like, restaurants really had it rough, and I am not envious of that situation. We were kind of in the opposite, like they didn't have the demand. We had like tons of demand and we just couldn't supply. So it's been weird, but I feel optimistic moving forward. Like we've gotten, repair parts started to be like hard to find, and we've been able to get those again. So it seems good.
You also mentioned that you help people learn how to fix their own bikes. Do you have classes in order to help people do that?
So that's something we put on pause. Again, like and I know like everyone's kind of going through a version of this, but we all like we're at capacity with like what our brains could handle. And so like prioritizing the mental health of the staff has been just like number one, myself included. Like I didn't go into the shop for like most of 2020. I stayed home. I have a 3-year-old kid. My partner and I both had to work from home and take care of our kid. And I was like, I can't, there was no going to the shop. So, yeah, like making sure that everybody was not like burning out was such a priority that we really just cut out anything that wasn't essential. Like anything, we've overused that word a lot, but like anything that wasn't just like showing up at work, doing the job, doing it well, we just got rid of. So again, hope to bring it back, because it is something that like we all, I think, just truly like love doing is, bike ride, like showing people different types of bike riding. Like I love taking people on mountain biking, like for the first time. I mean, I'd go after the first time too, but like just to show somebody like, hey, this is a thing, it exists and it's in Philly. Like, what? It's amazing. I love doing that. And, we love showing people how to fix their bikes too. So we do repair classes, ideally. Just not right now.
It will come back.
It'll be back, yeah.
Any other questions from community members? You can type in the chat, or if you're brave, you can unmute. Sorry for my toddler in the background. Well, thank you so much. We are really happy you have survived. And I know that it's going to come back to full capacity, and you guys will be doing everything you were doing before soon enough. Thank you so much for being with us. And I like says, happy that Fairmount Bikes is doing well. There you go. You got lots of support in here. And I'm glad you realized you're in Francisville. Represent.
It's never too late to change your name. Just kidding. Thanks, Shelley.
We just got a corner store on Girard and Ridge, and it's called Fairmount, like Fairmount Market. And I was like, what?
At least it's not Fairmont.
Jen, you just want me to jump in here real quick? Okay. Yeah, I think the last thing that we wanted to get to in the same vein as the cleanup day, Emily Projects joined us just to get us up to speed on the Glitter app. I think that's what it's called. I've heard a lot about it, so I just wanted to learn more about it and educate the community on what it was and see if we can put it into action. So Emily, I'll hand it over to you.
Thanks, Chris, and thanks, Shelley. That was a great presentation. I didn't know that you guys did the community fund, so I'll definitely be looking out for that. I'm going to share my screen real quick. So just presenting tonight about Glitter, and this is an app that it's a community tool. I don't work for Glitter. I was fortunate enough to sit down with the creator just because I went to a webinar that he presented at and had some ideas to discuss with him. And he right away just offered to sit down with me and talk. And it was such a great conversation. So I definitely wanted to be an advocate for his app because I think it's great for all Philadelphians. So if you haven't heard about what Glitter is, it's an app that allows people to report litter and get paid to pick it up. And I've created a form that you guys can fill out. I'll put this in the chat as well, the link to it. But if you're interested in finding out more information or coordinating, sponsoring a block, I'm willing to do that for this area for anyone who's interested. And how it's kind of set up is to be like Lyft, but for litter. And you can sponsor an app or sponsor a block that you live on, either individually as a business, or you can split the cost with any number of neighbors. So it is a little bit costly. It's $50 per week, but it can be split by any number of neighbors. So for example, if 10 neighbors join, it's only $5 per week. And what you get for that is a weekly cleaning of your block or any block that you're sponsoring. And if your block's a little bit shorter, they'll still make sure that they're cleaning up about 500 linear feet on both sides. So they'll work with you for that. And then the trained glitter cleaner will come to your block and also take photos, before and after photos, to document that the job is getting done. So they're really just launching the site right now, and it's in its beta mode. You'll even notice that their webpage will be changing in the next couple weeks. They actually just increased their cost from $140 a month to $200 every week, or every 4 weeks. The one good thing about this, about the $50 per week, is that it is an income opportunity for a local resident. So your money is staying in Philadelphia. So, and then some ideas that I just wanted to present to the group is, like, this is something that I'm interested in personally, but I don't necessarily want to be spending that much money on this on a weekly basis. This is, if lots of neighbors are interested, we could sponsor blocks with neighbors. If anybody lives in a condo and has a condo association, that's something that you can bring to them and see if they're willing to split the costs. Local businesses and developers could also sponsor blocks, and that's a good way to also, they'll promote you on their social media and whatnot as well. So I guess let me show you, I have the website pulled up. So if you guys do, if anybody does want to subscribe and split a block, they have, Glitter will set up a page for your block and residents can join that. And it'll take you through picking your block and picking the different neighbors that you'll split it with and the amount that you'd be paying per week. They're really, I've been talking to the CEO, they're very, very accommodating for different options and stuff. So it is a really good organization, and they're definitely in a phase where they're willing to take feedback and suggestions. Here's their webpage, which I mentioned they are going to be changing it in about 2 weeks, especially because they're changing their payment tiers from the $140 per month to $200 for 4 weeks. But it's really just a good community tool, and I wanted to make everyone aware of it. They've launched they started in South Philadelphia, but if you download the app, you can see a map of all the blocks that have been sponsored so far, and it's really spreading throughout the city pretty rapidly. Our area is a little underserved, I'd say. So I think that's just this is one of those things where if we spread the word about it, bring it back to your neighbors, or if we can talk about it or in different meetings or anything like that, maybe we can get some involvement and get this going in our neighborhood. Let me see. So if you guys are interested in learning more, you can download the app and just sign up and register. It's no commitment, just to download the app and look through it and see what kind of tools they offer. If you're interested in a shared subscription, as I mentioned before, I'd be happy to coordinate. So I've created a form that you can fill out. There's, again, no commitment. I will personally coordinate if there's any blocks that people want to share a subscription on. I can connect people. Or if anybody wants to sponsor just any heavily littered block in the neighborhood, I think that could be a really beneficial tool in the neighborhood. Again, like I mentioned before, it's like a Lyft system though. So if you are also looking for some extra cash, you can sign up to become a glitter cleaner. I think you have to be 18 to sign up. And then if you are a business, an individual, or a condo association that's interested in sponsoring a block independently, please still share that information. I've been in touch with the owner or with the creator and CEO, so they'd love to know and definitely give you guys a shout out or something. I know this was created by Terrell Hagler, who is known as Ya Fave Trash Man. So he's got a really big presence in the Philadelphia area now, especially through the pandemic. So yeah, does anybody have any questions?
There's one question in the chat. It says, so does the amount per person change automatically based on how many people on the block are signed up?
I believe so. Yes, it gets split evenly. Again, the CEO has told me if people want to contribute different amounts or anything too, they can work that out on their end. Yeah, he's very flexible with working with anybody who's interested to get this on different blocks. So.
And then my question is similar. So say I get everyone on my block, they're all in, they want to do this. How does that payment work? How does that payment work? Do you say like how much of the piece you want to pay for, and then weekly they ask you for money, or does it's like deducted from something? Like what are the logistics and how it works? Do you know?
So it would be billed every 4 weeks, and I think it would just be whatever the agreed upon amount was, whether you are splitting it evenly with everyone who's subscribed, or if certain people are splitting it a different amount. I think every individual who is sponsoring a block would be responsible for paying it their own portion. So you wouldn't be held accountable for someone else. if you've all agreed to split a block.
Do you know how long the contract lasts? So like if somebody decides to drop out, you know, and leave their neighbors to pay for it, how long like your subscription is before somebody can dip?
That's again, another thing that I actually was going to coordinate through the interest level. I do think you need to set a duration ahead of time, an agreed upon duration. I think that would, as long as, if you're splitting with neighbors, that would make the most sense. And that's just something that you would need to communicate directly with the Glitter app personnel. I believe it's a cancel anytime policy though. My thought process is if we can get a couple blocks in Francisville on a regular schedule where they're getting cleaned up, it doesn't necessarily have to go on forever and ever. The effects of cleaning a block regularly and having the area look cleaner is definitely lasting and impactful. So it's something we could just see how it goes and then take it from there and either continue the subscription or cancel whether it's working or we're enjoying it or we have enough independent interest in cleaning up your own blocks. Yeah.
Emily, I'd also say, first off, I'm definitely gonna get my block to sign up. But second off, we should keep Penny and the Francisville Neighborhood Development Corporation in the loop because they do have paid employees that do clean up Francisville. They mainly do Ridge and the like commercial corridor areas, but it would be great for them to know like which blocks are being cleaned by Glitter so then they can use their manpower on other blocks to make sure that our neighborhood's extra clean.
Yeah, I definitely know that there are cleaners out there, but this is definitely something that's just, it's different and it would be useful to coordinate with them. I agree. It's a different setup and program, and I really like the opportunity for employment for other Philadelphians too, for someone who doesn't necessarily have a full-time job or availability to work full-time, they can sign up and clean when they are available. So definitely.
Jen had a question
cool
too. Do you know how the trash is then picked up and removed after they clean up?
I don't. Terrell Hagler coordinates a lot of different cleanups, and I know he uses Clip for some of them. He also has one trash truck personally in his fleet. So, and he is launching a waste management business as well, a hauling business. So I'd imagine that those are cohesive efforts. He does have a lot of different efforts going on at the same time, but there's a full team that's just dedicated to Glitter. So again, it's in the beta phase, but I think that their idea is to get it spread across Philadelphia and then other cities. And I think all the kinks will get worked out as they get feedback. But yeah, so I don't know if that answered about actually collecting the trash, but they do have a system down. Anything else? I'm going to post this form in the chat if anybody wants to fill it out. I don't know if we can keep this in the UFCA communications if it's something that people are interested in. It can be an ongoing living effort. So, and again, I'm happy to coordinate.
And Emily, I don't know how quickly it can be mobilized, meaning, if like a couple neighbors wanted to get together and say we just wanted to do like 1 month as a test period. I don't know how long it takes. But I'm on the 800 block of North 19th Street. So a couple neighbors wanted to chip in and do 1 month quickly. I definitely contribute to like a 1 week payment of that, if anyone else wanted to go in on that.
Yeah, I think the minimum is a 4-week commitment. And then, yeah, if anybody wants to do this independently, you're more than welcome to. My hang up was that I needed the connection and I didn't necessarily have that. And I wanted to know who was interested. And I'm even happy to, I think we can even pick target blocks in Francisville that really need it too. Doesn't necessarily have to be your own block. So it should be interesting if some blocks get going with the app to see the results and the long-term effect.
Hi, Emily. This is Jeanette. I'm late coming to the board, but I need to know, I didn't catch everything that started with this program. Now, what was the cost to join this once you sign up for it?
So you can download the app for free, and you can either sign up to be a cleaner, or you can subscribe to get your block cleaned on a weekly basis. And it's $200 for every 4 weeks. And that's for 4 cleanings of your block on both sides. But there's the opportunity to split it with as many neighbors as you want. So if 10 or 20 people on your block wanted to share the cost, it would be reduced significantly.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
I was also thinking this could be something that I know if a developer comes with a proposal and they're going to take away our parking or something, this could maybe be something that offsets and benefits the community a little bit.
Emily, did you say both sides of the block? So where your house is and also the other side is inclusive?
Yeah, it's both sides of the street, and they aim to, and it's any in between 2 major intersections. So if you live on a smaller street, they'll try to do at least 500 linear feet on both sides. And I really liked they clean the storm drains as well.
Hey, Emily, do you know, did they mention if that also includes pulling like weeds out of the sidewalks? Is that considered part of the litter?
I did not ask that specifically, but I can reach out and ask them. I don't think so, though. I think it's just strictly trash.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, Emily. We'll get some information from you. I know you gave the links. I put some of the forms in the chat, but we'll share that in the recap email as well and post it on our social media pages and website, so people can fill out the form and get connected with you. And thanks for taking the lead on that.
Thank you for having me.
All right, thanks everyone. So just a couple quick committee updates. We'll run through them along with Chase and Ashley from the community. I'm on the marketing and events committee. Just wanted to share 2 quick events with everyone in the neighborhood. Eastern State Penitentiary wrapped up their new Halloween activities. They just wanted me to remind everyone that they still continue to do their 191 Free O program, which is on the 2nd Sunday of every month. Free daytime admission for up to 6 neighbors who reside in the zip code 19130. So you could just go to their website. I think you just have to show ID when you get there and they'll let you in for free daytime admission. And then the city streets department's also doing, in line with kind of the cleanup, They're doing their leaf recycling program. It started this past Monday and runs through December 18th. So you can either collect the leaf, any leaf droppings and have them picked up, or you can drop them off at different pickup points and sanitation centers around. So I'll drop that link in the chat if anyone's interested in learning more about the leaf recycling program. And then I will bump it over. We'll do outreach and inclusion, and then fundraising and sponsorship, and then we'll end with zoning, if there's any updates from those committees.
None for me, Jen, thanks.
Sorry, I was typing real fast. For outreach, we're really trying to get neighbors involved. We really would love to do a door-to-door, get everyone knowing what UFCA is. There's a lot of new neighbors, a lot of new construction. So if anyone is interested in coming around with me, hand out flyers, promote the final cleanup before the end of the season. I always love just walking around anyway. And we have some business cards we can hand out. So if anyone is interested, has some free time, I can make myself as flexible as possible, or you can do it on your own and I'll give you a stack full of business cards, run down what you can say when you knock on people's doors. We really love more neighbors on these meetings so we can get more voices involved and really hear what our community wants, needs, and get more people in these committees so we can have more effect in our community. Thanks.
Thanks, Amanda. And I just wanted to add, I think, with the pandemic and moving from the in-person meetings we used to have in the rec center to virtual, I know that there's been some community members who don't make the Zoom meetings and others who, it's now more convenient to join. And really, it's just about spreading the word and letting people know that we're here, and that, if they can't attend a meeting, there's other ways that they can get involved on their own time. It doesn't have to be only at the once a month community meeting. And also in the door-to-door advertising and promoting the open officer positions with the UFCA as well. All right, thanks, Amanda. And then last but not least for committee updates, zoning. There's no zoning projects for review now, but I know Evan has some updates that he wanted to share.
Nothing going on quite yet, or at least this month, believe it or not. There will be a project for review next month. The zoning committee hearing, which is the third, if I have that right. No, the fourth Wednesday typically of the month, is going to be on Tuesday the 23rd instead of the 24th. I realized the other day that's the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, so don't really think anything's going to happen there. But surprisingly enough, zoning is on the quieter side right now.
And Evan, I know you're recruiting for zoning committee.
Oh yeah, sorry. Also, anybody that would like to join the zoning committee, please shoot me an email. In order to join, you have to attend at least a meeting. And hopefully there's a project review going on. I know there will be one coming up at the November meeting, which is going to be on the Tuesday as opposed to Wednesday. It's going to be Tuesday the 23rd at I believe 6. I have the schedule up here. See, it's at 6 or 5:30. I'll send an email out about it to the listserv. But anybody that would like to attend, they are public.
I sent an email to you. Sorry, this is Carolyn.
Hey, Carolyn.
Joining, I wasn't sure if.
Oh yes, I will shoot you an email.
Okay, cool.
Thanks, Carolyn. All right, so that concludes the regularly scheduled agenda portion of our November community meeting. There's a little under 20 minutes left as part of the 90-minute agenda. So just wanted to open it up for open community discussion. If anyone has anything they want to share, promote, discuss, now would be the time before we adjourn for the evening.
Jen, I want to share something. I know that you're aware that there's a new RCO in the neighborhood too right now, right? Jen?
Yes.
Okay, so I think today would be a perfect time to introduce the new RCO. I know the members are not on this platform right now, but their they're the new members and they're the older members of the neighborhood, and they would like to work with your organization and become a new RCO. So they're people that's been here, and I must say that I'm one of them. And we would like to meet with your organization to incorporate some of the stuff that y'all do that maybe we can back up with, like the cleanup blocks, passing out flyers, getting more people to come out and do things. So that organization just wants to meet with a few of y'all to see what they can do to help, or what we can both help each other out in.
Yeah, thank you for the update, Jeanette. I spoke with Ruben recently, and he shared that the Morocco's group, who spoke at one of our meetings over the summer, has created a new RCO in the Francisville community as well. And I know our officers are going to try to meet with Ruben and some of the other officers of the Moroccos to see how we can join forces and do some things together for the community. I know he spoke about some of the things he was passionate about for the Moroccos RCO, including helping the local Francisville youth. So, you know, we're definitely excited to meet. We just haven't set that meeting time yet.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. We look forward to it. And if anyone else is interested in joining that meeting or chatting, feel free to let us know. We just haven't set a meeting date yet.
Hey, Jen, maybe it's too much to ask, but what's the name of the other organization? That's completely new to me. I try to be as informed as possible, but obviously I'm not so much into the loop. But what's the name of the new organization?
Jeanette, do you know? I believe it's just called the Morocco's RCO.
Yeah, the original Morocco's RCO of Francisville. And they're all Francisville residents that have been in the neighborhood over 60 years. So they're here. They've been here. They just haven't been that involved in what's going on. But now they're coming to the platform. Okay. But these are people that they've been here from the beginning of time. So, yeah.
Along those lines, what the Francisville NDC, what's going on with that? Like when we first, so I don't know, Jeanette, if you were here for when I was speaking, but my name's Shelley and I'm from the Fairmount Bicycles right on Fairmount Ave. When we first opened up, it was the Fairmount CDC that like came to us and, you know, was like, hey, we, you know, kind of like are a catch-all for all the businesses in the area. So I never really got involved with the Francisville, you know.
Okay. Would that be, is that the FNDC?
That's FNDC. So
yeah, they haven't had a meeting in a while.
They've had a couple. They just had a meeting. I think it was last month.
I didn't see that one. I'm sorry, Amanda.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's not your fault, Jeanette. So I think they're focusing their efforts now a lot on IPAM, which is the marketplace that's set up on Ridge 1700 block of Ridge. I forget the exact address. But there weren't many meetings going on during the pandemic. So I think that's probably why. And so Penny did start in-person meetings again. They're going to be quarterly right now. And so I can check my text messages and tell you when the next one is. But I think the last one was October.
Oh, okay. I didn't see nothing on there.
Well, I don't know if this is the right question for, you know, only having 12 minutes left or whatever. But I guess I'm also kind of confused by all of the organizations. You know, like what, like.
Can I have a little input right there?
Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I think the last question. I'm sorry, I didn't grab your name from the Fairmount Bikes. My name is Miguel. I live on Uber Street, right around the corner from you. I remember when you guys opened. I've been in the shop a couple of times, but I think you're right, and I think the question that you're posting is really important. I think to sort of be taken more broadly, because we are probably. with a lot of confusion right now. And I think there's need for clarification, because even the word RCO, you know, it carries a lot of weight. So I think maybe maybe that should be included within the next meeting to have it, you know, really discussed and people can ask more questions about it.
Sure, I can give like a quick, I'm sorry, did I cut someone off?
No, go ahead.
I can give kind of a quick rundown. So I went to FNDC meetings for a while since I moved in and when UFCA was created. And I think the thought was most communities have both a CDC, a development corporation, and a civic association. So the intention in creating the civic association was to have a civic association alongside a development corporation. And so the development corporation, the FNDC is for profit. It's a business that can make profit. UFCA, the civic association, is a fully volunteer run organization. FNDC mainly focuses on commercial corridors and really is interested in the development aspect of our neighborhood, while UFCA, the civic association, like in other communities, is more focused on like residents, and we're focused on kind of residential concerns like cleaning and beautifying and seeing what events or what's wanted from the community. And I think I'm excited to meet with the Moroccos to see how we can collaborate more, because it's definitely bringing more voices and voices that have been in the community a while. And the Moroccos have had events in our community forever. And so they presented in the summer to kind of advertise their annual event, but I'm excited that they're getting more involved. And I think that this collaboration will be really good, and we can start separating out while working together, like figuring out who can help out with what to make sure that all neighbors are included, and we're really kind of making sure we're doing what the neighborhood wants. But FNDC, the development corporation, is more focused on commercial and development. So I hope that clarifies it a little bit, but we can definitely answer questions.
Thanks, Amanda. I think that hopefully helps to clarify. And I just wanted to share with everyone, you know, an RCO is a registered community organization. Any nonprofit organization in Philadelphia can apply to the city to become designated as a RCO. Many neighborhoods have multiple RCOs. So in addition to the Moroccos, FNDC, UFCA, there's also the Friends of Ogden Park. They are also a registered community organization within Francisville. And then we kind of abut the Spring Garden Civic Association and Spring Garden CDC, North Broad Renaissance, the Fairmount Civic Association. And then Shelley, I think earlier you were speaking about the Fairmount CDC also, which is a different community development corporation. Their office is up at 27th and Girard, where State Rep Donna Bullock's office is located as well. I think they're neighbors, and they oversee community development in the greater art museum area. So their territory, if you will say, is a little bit bigger than just these small, tiny neighborhoods. And they founded the GAMBA, the Greater Art Museum Business Association. So I think a lot of their focus is on helping businesses locate to the, you know, art museum area and really helping them thrive. So my guess, Shelley, is you were probably approached by the Fairmount CDC to maybe join that business association early on.
I mean, I don't know. Again, I know you're running out of time here, but I was actually on the board of the Fairmount CDC for a couple of years. So I was pretty involved, and I think that's why I'm a little confused as to like what the roles are, because we talked about a lot of the same stuff, like street cleaning. It wasn't just about businesses. There's a lot of overlap. And I know there is the Fairmount Civic Association as well. But mostly I was like unclear on if the Fairmount NDC was still active and like what this RCO is that Jeanette is a part of. And yeah, kind of like I feel like what we struggled with at the Fairmount CDC was like all of this kind of overlap of being like, oh, why are we trying to recreate the wheel if like somebody's already doing this? And that's kind of what I'm trying to see here too, you know, just feel like let's, yeah, like that also what Emily is saying. Yeah, just like, I think it would be really cool to combine forces, and especially like with the longer term, you know, longtime residents of the neighborhood, like that's super important.
I have a question. With having multiple RCOs, how does that work for developers with like getting their zoning buy-in from neighborhoods? Can they go to like any RCO and get the approval from the RCO for the neighborhood? Or is it like just this RCO that has the power to, I guess, give buy-in for a zoning project?
Do you want me to
So-
answer that, Jen?
Yeah, I'll just say something if you can chime in too, Megan. So any RCO can present any of the zoning projects that come up, but only one RCO is assigned by the local council member's office to be the coordinating RCO. And so we are obligated to present at our community meetings if we are assigned a coordinating RCO role and write the zoning letters to the city and the zoning board of adjustments.
Well, I just wanted to make sure that like I wasn't gonna miss something because they presented at a different RCO and like didn't present at this RCO, you know.
Yeah, so typically we've seen the RCO assignments for Francisville, the commercial corridor ones for Ridge Avenue, and sometimes Fairmount Avenue typically are assigned to FNDC, and then the residential blocks typically are assigned to UFCA, although that is not always the case. Megan, I don't know if you have anything to add to that. Or Evan.
No, I don't have anything to add. I mean, I think, yeah, the answer is it gets assigned by the city. They pick the organization it goes to. I'll say this, and Evan could, reiterate this too. As, acting zoning chair who just stepped back, we get some notices for projects within the area, and it tells us if they're going to us or someone else. But there's definitely been times where a project comes out and it's not, and I don't know. I think it's like distance related, how close it is to what our, to where we are. But so, sometimes it's not uncommon for someone to come and say, oh, there's a project on this block. When are you seeing it? And when we look it up, the answer is that, well, we're not, because it's been assigned to someone else. You can always, if you see a project that has come up and you're unsure, you can always use atlas.phila, and that is the city's online registry for all properties. It tells you everything you need to know for zoning, any sort of permits they have, variances, if they have a meeting, if they don't, who is seeing it. It's a really great resource. It's available to everyone. It's free, and it's super user-friendly. So if it's not something you're seeing on our calendar, it could just be because it isn't our project. Our organization generally, unless the developer comes and asks to present, does not ask developers to present if we are not the coordinating and we are not the RCO taking the vote.
All right, do you guys, I think I missed the info for, I guess it would be, you said FNDC? Presumably because one of you two would be the one that they would have to present to. They have to present to a neighborhood organization, right? Great, thanks, Jen.
Carolyn, I just dropped the link in for FNDC's website as well as the Atlas website, city website that Megan referenced.
Yeah, I use Atlas all the time, but I wasn't sure about the FNDC.
And I know we only have a couple minutes left, so I just wanted to, make sure that we didn't miss anybody else's topics, and we can circle back to this one if anyone's interested, but wanted to make sure that everyone else's topics got addressed.
I want to say something because the leaders of the board here, I think, too humble to say it. But you guys are doing amazing work and making a huge impact. And I just want to make sure everyone here that's maybe not involved on a committee or leadership role knows that they need help. It's entirely volunteer run and it's entirely donation driven. And so without people and money, they can't keep making the impact, that they're making and continue the momentum that's already been built. So kind of a plea, for me, Jen said we're moving. And so there's two critical roles that are about to be open. on this leadership board that are really, really important to continue the impact of the community. And so if you or anyone you know that you want to voluntold that might be interested in giving their time, it would make such a big difference to the community and help this group continue doing what they're doing. You could think about it.
Thank you for all the I'm sorry. Thank you for all the clarification. I think these 5-7 minutes were really valuable. And I think just one word of wisdom. I think somebody brought up the issue of where the developers present their projects. Fortunately enough, I think Francisville is kind of over that hump. But I think other areas are saying this. And with all honesty and frankly, I have to say that sometimes you really have to watch out for the developers because they are very, very savvy. I mean, they're driven by business and that's understandable, but their desire to do business sometimes doesn't work for the best of the community. And we have seen it. So I think it's very good to be well-versed in terms of where to go and who to ask for. And that's what I was just asking for, this kind of clarification for all of us. But thank you very much.
Thanks, Miguel. And, I think that brings up, maybe a future topic that we can cover at a meeting, some questions and answers, and maybe get someone to kind of help give clarity to that question. Because it seems like from some of the quick discussion tonight that there's some, confusion and clarity needed. All right, 8 o'clock on the nose. Does anybody else have anything else? Going once, going twice? All right, I'm really bummed to say that we're probably not going to have our in-person holiday meeting where we have a potluck, get together at the rec center. It's a little tight in light of everything that's happening. So I think we'll skip that for this year. But thank you everyone for sticking around for a jam-packed meeting this month. We'll meet again second Wednesday of every month. So the next meeting will be Wednesday, December 8th. We'll still continue to meet on Zoom. Amanda will put together the meeting recap from tonight and we'll send out the recording and minutes very soon. If you have any suggestions on future meeting topics, community spotlights, things to discuss, or any feedback in general about the meetings, let any of us know. We're happy to take that feedback into consideration and your ideas. And if you know anyone who's interested in joining any of our committees or running for president or vice president, also please let us know.
Wait. We lost the president and the vice president.
We haven't had a vice
want to be
president.
Nah. No, I didn't know that. I didn't know
You'll
that.
be great.
I missed the whole program.
We're moving, Jeanette, the end of this year. So we have a president role opening and we never filled the vice president role from earlier this year. So we are seeking awesome people to fill those roles if you know anybody.
Oh, Jen. Dang, I'm gonna miss you.
I'll miss you too. I'm here till the end of the year. So I'll be here for the next meeting too.
Okay. All right. Okay.
All right. Thank you everyone for joining tonight. We'll see you next month, if not sooner.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you.
Okay.